A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A+ English because it's so much fun. English education for you and everyone, so come along. Learn some grammar, learn a phrase, learn something new every day. Learn the A+ way. Hey, it's time to start the show. Are you ready? Good, 'cause here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A+ English.
Hi everyone and welcome to A+ English. I'm Pat.
And I'm Tiffany.
So today we're doing our culture shock article, but before we get started, how many wedding customs in Taiwan do you know and what are they? I've been to a few, yeah.
Do you remember any of the customs?
3 dresses is a thing, right? Like the bride will wear 3 different dresses at different times in the party. She'll kind of come out in a white one and she'll have like, is there a red one? There's a blue one.
I think it depends. And then some people usually have like a second dress to, toast to the guests.
That's right. Which is another custom. The bride and groom and maybe the parents go to every table and they kind of cheers with everybody. So what about any more?
Oh, there's actually a really fun one. Now, not a lot of people get to see this, but before the wedding, sometimes the groom has to go through like an obstacle course and they have to play games to fetch or to get his bride. And in Chinese, we call that 闯关游戏.
I've heard of it. I've definitely heard of it. I've heard some stories. I never had to do any of this. I am married, but I didn't have a Taiwan wedding. It was in Hong Kong. It was all done quite quickly. So I've never had to be the center of any of these customs. So just like me, Simon, our British guy in our Culture Shock articles, is going to find out about some wedding customs. Let's read through day 1 and see what he learns.
Culture Shock!
Wedding Day Customs.
Simon and Lucia are at home. Lucia has a card.
Benson and Abby invited us to their wedding.
Cool! I'd like to attend a Taiwanese wedding.
Simon's phone makes a sound.
It's from Benson. He wants me to come to a party before the wedding. In the UK, we call it a stag night.
Those parties are pretty wild, right?
Simon remembers a party in the UK. He and some friends are wearing silly clothes and drinking.
Gary's getting married! Yay!
The memory ends.
Yes, sometimes. What happens here?
Nothing too crazy. We'll also help out on the wedding day.
At my mate's wedding, I showed people to their seats.
Abby's sisters and I will give Benson some tests.
Like a school test?
No, just silly things for him to do, like eating really spicy snacks.
Sounds like fun. Word power!
Wedding. Wedding. Daniel and Michelle got married last week. It was a beautiful wedding. Daniel and Michelle got married last week. It was a beautiful wedding. Party. Party. On Patricia's 21st birthday, she had a big party with her friends and family. On Patricia's 21st birthday, she had a big party with her friends and family. Wild. Wild. The rock band's show was wild. A few people got hurt. The rock band's show was wild. A few people got hurt. Test. Test. In this story, the prince goes through some tests to show his courage. In this story, the prince goes through some tests to show his courage.
认识字汇
Attend. Spicy.
So we see in this cartoon at the start that Simon and Lucia are at home. They're at the home that they share. And Lucia has a card. Something's come in the mail. She's opened it and she's having a look.
And then Lucia says, Benson and Abby invited us to their wedding. So it's really good news.
Cool.
So usually in Taiwan, we send wedding invitations out, and they're usually just a card that tells you, when and where. And I think in Western cultures, they do that too.
Yeah, it usually says save the date, and then it shows all the wedding information. There's often something as well, like maybe a website you can go to kind of give gifts, which we'll talk about a bit later. But let's look at the word wedding.
Exactly. So we have the word for wedding. It's spelled W-E-D-D-I-N-G. Wedding. Wedding is a noun and it's a ceremony or event where people get married. In Western culture, people get married in a church. In Taiwan, people usually have a big lunch or dinner as a wedding, and we call that 喜酒. Now let's take a look at our sample sentence. It says, Daniel and Michelle got married last week. It was a beautiful wedding. Daniel and Michelle got married last week. It was a beautiful wedding.
All right, so Simon is pretty happy about this news. He says, cool, I'd like to attend a Taiwanese wedding. And of course, it is very interesting going to weddings in different cultures to kind of see what happens, how things are done differently, different things people wear or eat or do. It's all quite an interesting and fun idea. Now here, Simon uses the phrase he would like to do this thing. He would like to see or go to a Taiwanese wedding. And would like to is a way of expressing a desire, but in a polite way. So in a restaurant, or if you're asking somebody for something, you don't just say, I want this, I want this. You say, I would like this. It's just a more polite way of saying want. Of course, Simon wants to go to a Taiwanese wedding, but he says, I would like to, as it's a more polite way of speaking. And he uses the verb attend.
That's right. Now, attend means to be present at an event or to be present somewhere. So, for example, you have to go to school from Monday to Friday. So that means from Monday to Friday, you need to attend or be present at school.
That's right. So, as they're talking about that, we see in the picture that Simon's phone makes a sound. So, obviously, he's got some kind of message online or something like that.
Next in the article, Simon says, it's from Benson. He wants me to come to a party before the wedding.
Okay, so this isn't just the wedding party, the dinner. This is a party before the wedding. So something a little bit different, but we should look at party.
Exactly. So let's take a look at the word party. It's spelled P-A-R-T-Y. Party. Party is a noun, and I'm sure you guys know what this word means. It's an event where people have fun and they celebrate something. So there can be lots of entertainment and things to do. For example, if it's your birthday, you might throw a party for your friends. You might invite them over to your house, and maybe there's some games to play, and there's a lot of delicious food to eat as well. So what you're doing is you're throwing a party. Now let's take a look at our sample sentence. It says, on Patricia's 21st birthday, she had a big party with her friends and family. On Patricia's 21st birthday, she had a big party with her friends and family.
So we also use the word before in that last sentence. This party, the one that Simon is going to go to, is before the wedding. Now, the word before is used to show a relationship in time. It shows that one thing happens earlier than another thing. So Simon is going to kind of talk about this idea of a party before the wedding.
And later we'll learn about what it's called. But here in the article it says in the UK we call it a stag night.
Right, stag night. A stag, S-T-A-G, stag is a male deer. It's the word for that. And we call it a stag party. It's kind of a tradition that the guy is the stag. In Australia, this kind of before wedding party is known as a bucks night. What do you call these in the US?
All right, so if you are a person waiting to get married, and if you're a man, you're called a bachelor. So we call that a bachelor party.
Okay.
And there's also a party for women before her wedding too. Now, if you're a woman getting ready to get married, you're called a bachelorette. So women also have parties too, and we call that a bachelorette party. What do you call that in the UK?
In the UK, that is known as a hen night, or sometimes just a hen do. So hen, H-E-N, it's just a female chicken. I don't know where these names come from, why it's deers and chickens, but that's what they're called. Stag night, he means bachelor party, which is maybe the name you might know here. So back to the article where Lucia asks Simon, those parties are pretty wild, right? The word wild, W-I-L-D, wild is an adjective, and it's our next word power word. Let's check it out. Something that's wild is a bit crazy. It's full of excitement, and it's without any rules or any real control. So if a class of students is being wild, then a teacher will have a hard time that day. A wild party could mean a lot of crazy things going on, dancing on tables and more. So in our example sentence, for example, we could say, the rock band's show was wild. A few people got hurt. The rock band's show was wild. A few people got hurt.
I've attended a few bachelorette parties, and girls can get pretty wild too.
Yes, they can.
You need a lot of energy for that. Now, let's go back to the article. We see a scenario. It says, Simon remembers a party in the UK. He and some friends are wearing silly clothes and drinking.
Now, that does sometimes happen, wearing silly clothes, especially the guy, we'll call him the kind of husband-to-be, the groom-to-be, or the stag. He often does wear silly clothes.
Yeah. Do you remember your stag night, or did you have one?
I did not actually have one. Because it was kind of a quick wedding in Hong Kong, and I'm here in Taiwan, none of my friends and family could come.
Oh, okay.
And we always kind of thought, oh, we may have a wedding in the UK at some point, and then I would have a stag night.
Oh.
So I went out and had a couple of quiet drinks with some friends, but I didn't have anything wild.
Oh, man.
My brother, on the other hand, I could tell you stories, but I'm not going to here because they're not appropriate stories. Anyway, back to the article. In Simon's memory, we see him saying, Gary's getting married! Yay!
Yay! And then here we see that the scenario, that the memory ends. So he remembers, a stag night he had before.
Yeah,
and how
silly clothes,
how crazy it could be.
Yeah, that was just the start, because he just says, yes, sometimes. I think maybe there's some things Simon isn't telling Lucia. And he quickly changes the subject and asks, what happens here?
Okay, well, Lucia says nothing too crazy. We'll also help out on the wedding day. So I think for Taiwanese people, they don't really have bachelorette parties. They still do, but then I think it's more of a Western thing. But you do have to, before the wedding day, you do have to prepare a lot of things. And you do have to, if you are playing the obstacle course games, you're playing these games, you do have to prepare for that. But here we saw the phrase help out. Now, when you help out or help somebody out, it just means you help them do some work for them. So instead of just one person, for example, setting up for the party, you can help out and maybe help set the party together by placing the plates somewhere or putting up the decorations or balloons somewhere. So that's what help out means.
Yeah, and this happens in the UK as well. The bride and the groom, or the husband and wife, they will choose a group of close friends and family members who are really involved in the wedding and do a lot of things. And this happened to Simon as well. He said, at my mate's wedding, I showed people to their seats, which I have also done at friends' weddings. Now here, Simon uses the word mate, M-A-T-E, and in the UK, we just use the word mate to mean friend. Hey, he's my mate, he's a good mate of mine, and so on.
I think Australians use this phrase
Yeah, they
too.
would do the same.
All right, so next we see a picture, and then it says, Simon remembers wearing a suit and helping someone find a seat. Okay,
Yeah,
so that was his job.
Yeah, you would wear a suit at a wedding. I had a job where I had to announce people, so I would tell people, everybody please stand for, the bride and groom, or do this. I had to give, I did a speech at my brother's wedding where I kind of read something from a book about marriage, that kind of thing. I've done a few of those little jobs here and there. So this is where we get to what Lucia will be doing, which is back to what you mentioned earlier. She says, Abby's sisters and I will give Benson some tests.
Ooh, sounds fun.
Yep, the word test, T-E-S-T, is a noun, and it's today's final word power word. Let's check it out. So when we think of tests, we often think of school, some kind of activity, maybe a written one or a spoken one, that's used to prove a person knows something or can do something. So like a driving test before you're allowed to drive by yourself on the road. However, we can also talk about tests, meaning difficult things you have to do, maybe to prove that you are good or prove that you are worthy of something. And that's what we're talking about in the article and also in this example sentence. In this story, the prince goes through some tests to show his courage. In this story, the prince goes through some tests to show his courage.
All right, so that's usually quite fun. And then here we see a picture where Simon thinks about a man taking a test. Okay, so maybe he doesn't really have the right idea in mind because he says...
he's kind of confused. He says like a school test, like you have to answer a quiz on the wife. Yeah, what does she like? What does she hate?
Well, Lucia says no, just silly things for him to do, like eating really spicy snacks, or sometimes we even, well, for me, I remember that we made the groom and then all the groomsmen do like physical things, like they had to do push-ups and they had to carry things. It was really fun watching that. Or like here we saw the word spicy. Now when something is spicy, it means that when you eat it, it gives you like this tingly feeling in your mouth and it's really, really, really hot. And it's spicy because of the peppers, like the things that you eat
chili,
from the peppers.
That kind of stuff. Okay, so when Simon realizes, oh, it's this kind of like games and challenges, this kind of thing, he says, sounds like fun, okay? Sounds like this is the sort of silly thing that probably this would be done on a stag party as well. I once saw one. I went to play paintball, where you shoot paintballs, and there was a stag party there. Not ours, but they got everybody who was there that day. They put the husband-to-be in a wedding dress and let everybody on the whole paintball thing shoot him.
Oh my goodness.
Just as a kind of like, how far can you survive kind of test. So that's the sort of thing we mean. Okay, that is the end of the first part of the article. So let's go to today's magic box first, then we'll be back for our review time.
Magic Box 找亮点。
Hello， 大家好，我是 Peggy。大家都说啊，在家靠父母，出外靠朋友。出门在外啊，出了什么事情呢？就是要靠朋友的帮忙了。我最近就遇到了一些需要朋友帮忙的情况，所以我今天就要来教教大家各种各样的帮忙要怎么说吧。首先呢，大家想到帮忙，一定会想到这个字叫做 help， 它可以是一个动词，也可以是一个名词。当做动词的时候，后面可以直接加受词，再加原形动词，是不需要加 to 的哦。给大家一个例子 ，Gary helped me climb the tree。我爬树的时候 ，Gary 帮了我的忙，所以他 helped me climb the tree， 后面不需要加 to。除了 help 以外，你也可以说 give somebody a hand。这个 hand 当然就是我们大家知道手的意思啊。你给别人一只手，就好像伸手拉他了一把，也就是帮忙的意思。中文我们也可以说伸出援手。所以如果你想问别人需不需要帮忙，除了 help 以外，你也可以问 Do you need a hand？ 你需不需要帮忙呢？ help 单独一个字的时候，讲的就是更紧急啊，比如说救个人、救命的状况。比如说这个句子 ，Help! There's someone drowning over there. 救命啊，那边有人溺水了。或者是你要告诉别人来救你，说 Help! Help! 这样。最后再教大家一个跟 help 有关的片语，就是 help out。它其实啊也是帮助的意思，但是我们加上一个 out 的时候呢，强调的是比较严重的状况，而且重点就摆在你帮人家的方法呢是给钱啊，或是你帮他做某件事情。比如说你已经没有钱要吃饭了，要喝西北风了，就可以，然后别人借你5000块，这种时候就可以用 help out， 或者是像这个句子。Henry helped his grandfather out by clearing snow from his yard. Henry 帮他的爷爷前院铲雪。说到这边，事不宜迟，我们赶快来用 help 做个小测验吧。Jennifer 的姐姐借由借给她5000块来帮助她，显然 Jennifer 也是一个快要喝西北风的状态哈。那这句话到底要怎么说呢？
The answer is Jennifer's sister helps her out by lending her 5,000 NT dollars. 你答对了吗？
Wait for it. It's review time. 复习时间到喽。
Okay, so today we looked at the word spicy. Spicy is one of the flavors that food can have. We've also got sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and one that's kind of come up in recent years, we call it umami. It's kind of like almost like a sort of a meaty kind of taste. So what can we name that tastes these ways? So, okay, let's go. I will challenge you. Think of as many things that you can that taste sour.
Okay, lemons.
Right. That's the main one, I suppose.
Kiwis can be sour sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
Candy.
Yes, that candy can be sour.
Candy can be sour. No, not yet. Oh man.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot of fruit
Tom
things.
Yum soup.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of Thai soup can taste sour.
Oh man, this
what
is
else
tough.
has got a sour taste to it?
Limes.
Yeah, limes, lemon. In fact, a lot of fruits have got that kind of
I think
sour.
citrusy ones, like
yes.
oranges, sometimes can be a little bit
That
sour.
is true. Even an orange can taste a bit sour.
Yeah.
Kind of almost like milk or some things. If they've gone bad, they will have almost like a sour taste.
I don't want it to taste sour milk.
Okay, do you want to challenge me with one?
Okay, I'm going to give you bitter.
Bitter, okay. Coffee would be the obvious one.
Okay, yeah.
Tea, many kinds of tea are bitter. Dark chocolate can taste very bitter. A lot of beer and things like that. It does. It does. It has a bitter taste to it. Bitter melon,
yes.
so cool. There's not that many other things. What might taste bitter? Having your girlfriend break up with you on with a text message.
Oh, that is pretty bitter.
That's bitter.
That leaves you a really bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, that's a different meaning of the word bitter. Okay, but we are out of time. We could do some other tastes as well, but we'll talk to you again tomorrow and see what happens when Simon and Lucia go to the wedding.
Ooh.
We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Bye.
Culture shock!
Wedding Day Customs.
Simon and Lucia are at home. Lucia has a card.
Benson and Abby invited us to their wedding.
Cool. I'd like to attend a Taiwanese wedding.
Simon's phone makes a sound.
It's from Benson. He wants me to come to a party before the wedding. In the UK, we call it a stag night.
Those parties are pretty wild, right?
Simon remembers a party in the UK. He and some friends are wearing silly clothes and drinking.
Gary's getting married! Yay!
The memory ends.
Yes, sometimes. What happens here?
Nothing too crazy. We'll also help out on the wedding day.
At my mate's wedding, I showed people to their seats.
Abby's sisters and I will give Benson some tests.
Like a school test.
No, just silly things for him to do, like eating really spicy snacks.
Sounds like fun.
Word power!
Wedding. Wedding. Daniel and Michelle got married last week. It was a beautiful wedding. Daniel and Michelle got married last week. It was a beautiful wedding. Party. Party. On Patricia's 21st birthday, she had a big party with her friends and family. On Patricia's 21st birthday, she had a big party with her friends and family. Wild. Wild. The rock band's show was wild. A few people got hurt. The rock band's show was wild. A few people got hurt. Test. Test. In this story, the prince goes through some tests to show his courage. In this story, the prince goes through some tests to show his courage.
认识字汇
Attend. Spicy.